If you listen very carefully, you can hear the sound of cats meowing. It almost sounds like crying. I wonder what they would have to cry about. Although, I find myself in a basketball court tonight, and I wonder if this thing ever gets used. I also wonder about a lot of stuff. For instance, the word corona. Supposedly this virus that came out of China, coronavirus 18 or 19, has multiple meanings, the word itself, depending on which language you put it in. I can only guess in English and in Hebrew, but I'm sure if you were to put it in Russian or Chinese or any of the other languages out there, might have other meanings. For instance, COVID, co-video, as in sharing video watching. That according to some religious fanatics, you shouldn't watch any videos whatsoever. Or Corona, the beer. That some people are completely against any alcoholism, any use of alcohol. I myself rarely drink anything with alcohol in it. I'm much more a fan of cigarettes and marijuana, but on occasion I will drink. The cat stopped. Maybe they're waiting for a human voice. I don't know. It's kind of like a baby. Baby will cry just for attention. I think I'm crying out for attention. Oh, look, the cat is crying again. It might be a mating call. It might be a boredom call. I don't know. I mean, supposedly God created everything with wisdom. And I look around the world, and the world is a very complicated place. And the fact that it works, I mean, either via evolution or by creation. I mean, systems have been put in place. The world is a very, very complicated place, to put it mildly. Some think that money is the be-all and end-all. Something gets the source of all good and source of all evil. Something is just the source of evil. Back to COVID and coronavirus. I already mentioned two of sharing a video, and some religious fanatics think that any video watching is prohibited, according to their religion. Some very religious Jews will probably agree on certain grounds. And coronavirus, alcoholism. Some people are very against alcohol. In Hebrew, corona, a cold time, as in winter. Here in Israel, winter is nothing like the winters of Siberia or northern Canada. Not even really of more centralized places like Toronto and New York. Kind of like Florida, has no winter in comparison to the previously mentioned places. Israel does get some bits of winter. There have been known to be snowfalls here. Serious snowfalls. Winter has happened here. But in general, it's a rather mild climated place on the planet. But cold is cold. You know, if you're used to 30 degrees in August and it goes down to 5 in January, February, and beginning of March, you're going to be cold. If you're homeless, those are very cold temperatures. If you have a home, not as big a deal. You know, you're always more afraid of not having, 2 days food ahead of you. That's like one of the key things about having a house is like you usually got the cupboard stocked. Grains and spices, legumes. And the freezer usually has some meat products or other protein things. Some people are anti-meat. Again, I have gone off topic. I was talking about Corona. So the three that come to mind easily, I'm pretty sure I'd thought of a fourth and a fifth, but at the moment they're escaping me. Possibly even a sixth, I can't remember. This COVID thing's been around for over a year. So it's hard to say, how many times I've thought about the topic and come up with possible acronyms, or not acronyms, it's a better word. I think I just heard it the other day. Can't remember. So in Hebrew you would have corona, which would mean cold time or the winter. And people could die, 5 degrees. If you're not properly bundled and you go night after night after night after night after night after night in 5-degree weather, you're going to be very sick at the end. Possibly dead. In rabbinic literature, it talks about how the wicked are considered dead even while they're alive. For instance, Al Capone. Al Capone, on a Jewish level, would have been considered dead. He would have been considered an absolute wicked person, and same with Hitler. But Hitler tried to wipe out the Jews. He didn't. There were some other people he really didn't like either. Disabled. There were a few others. Every year we remember there's a Holocaust Memorial Day, Yom HaShoah. My grandparents went through the Holocaust, Shaya and Rivka Farbiash. They're buried in Toronto, about a 10-15 minute walk from where I was living in 2012 through 2018. People would say, you should go visit the Ol of the Rebbe Lubavitch. I would say, what are you talking about? Even he said anybody who went through the Shoah is a tzaddik. And so I would pray at their graves. I'm not saying the Rebbe from Lubavitch wasn't a great rabbi or a great person. He himself didn't have any kids. I take issue with that. I'm 38 years old and I don't have any kids yet. And I really want to have kids. Avram, Abraham, our forefather, if you're Jewish. In fact, most people today, I would imagine, are either direct or converts into a religion, or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe some people, I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing. It's late at night. I got nothing to do. And I'm thinking about, is my life about serving God, or is my life about something else? And if it is about serving God, then what does that entail? I got halfway to walking to the Western Wall. They have all-night study there, open to the public. And I just couldn't say, no, I got to go to sleep. That way I can do the morning service. Because praying 3 times a day is much more important than one night of study. But there is one night of study which Orthodox Jews have been practicing for, I imagine, millennia. The night of Shavuos, the night they got the Torah. And trying to do repentance for sleeping in the day the Ten Commandments were given. At least that's the way I understood my teachers. Saturday night. If I had a message for kids, I'd say, go learn Torah. That's like definitely the purpose of kids. I think adults are supposed to be out working. Although stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads, I guess that's a form of work. could be a full-time job being a housekeeper. In fact, I think that's my dream job. I mean, I'm not gonna say for the rest of my life, but I would love to meet some gorgeous woman who is so filthy rich, and I can experiment in her kitchen and also have kids with her. Obviously, I mean, that's what this, you know. Heck, if I had to choose one, off the top of my head, no, I don't know enough people to be able to make that decision. I think there are people out there who could. And I'm pretty sure my psychologist is sane, but then again, he's sort of saying that about me. So, you know, takes one to know one, but then again, we're all biased about ourselves. So I might not actually be sane. One thing I really hate is hearing my own voice played back in front of me. I am not music. I am not music. When it comes out of my mouth, I like it. Hearing it again, are you kidding me? I'm not God. I don't want to hear my voice again. Not a chance. And I don't sing. I used to once upon a time. Sure. No, other voice. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang up at this point. Because I'm starting to feel very self-conscious about this. But those are my thoughts for Saturday night, 1:30 a.m. Oh, and I have just over 10 million in my poker account. It's not real money. Technically, you know, if somebody wanted to take over the game from me with my phone, I guess we could write a contract where we could speak about in person, or even via WhatsApp or whatever, and trade phones. Not sure how that would work. The SIM card, I have to change numbers. I'd also try and mind that. I've already had like 6 phones in Israel. I came with one, but didn't have a SIM. It fell on the floor, I bought a new one. While I was at it, I bought a SIM. That one, I think I ended up giving to a housemate at a certain point and buying another one. I'd saved up enough money. Tzedakah collecting thing being, as long as you've got a home that you don't have to pay rent on, just, you know, like food, laundry, you know, simple things. You know, as long as you can, I mean, technically money, it's like, you know, give me $100 million. I know what to do with it. No, I don't want it from a criminal. I want it, you know, legally shown to be, you know, from a legitimate cause. Let's say, I'm scared to say, but imagine Rabbi Orlovsky coming up to me. Wait, let me backtrack. Me and my shrink finally get me my passport. We finally take all my documents, the passport, the letter stating I'm Jewish, my birth certificates. I forget what the other thing was. There was like 1 or 2 other documents that Strada Panim and Nefesh B'Nefesh want from Canadians and Americans. And by Americans, I mean citizens of the United States of America. For some reason, in Israel, the United States of America and Canada are equal. Like, it's like Israelis have never met a Canadian hick or a native Canadian. Heck, there's a lot of Canadians out there I've never met. There's this guy from Vancouver. He's like almost looking in a mirror at me. It's not like none of the guys I've met, you know, from New York or Israel or I think I met a couple of Iranians, Russians, lots of Russians I know. I mean, former U.S., former United Soviet State Republic, forgot what it was called. Huh. Apparently I'm not hanging up. I might need to. Oh, somebody walking by. Erev Tov. I don't know. I'd be afraid of the police. Well, I'm not doing anything. I don't have a home. Yeah, that'd be a thing. You get a dude that's a hoot and a check from the police for 5 million shekels to go out and buy a house so that I'm not loitering at 1:30 in the morning. I mean, the only thing I remember from the Talmud explaining why there's a verse, why there's a pasuk, why there's a pasuk, shoftim v'shotrim titen lecho v'chol sharecho, is that during Chol HaMoed, whatever you want to call it, Sukkot and Pesach, Sukkot v'Pesach, is boys and girls don't do orgies. When we were in Gullus, before the New World came about, before the Enlightenment, before Hasidus, we were terrified of the Goyim. There was very little assimilation, and the thought of an orgy was like, forget about it. Not a chance. Everybody terrified. But back in our land, supposedly, 2,000 plus years ago, the teenagers, and maybe even the adults, I don't know, it was an issue. They wanted to. They wanted to be with inappropriate partners. Not animals, thank God. Thank God there has not been a track record of our people that says we ever wanted to be with animals. Just the wrong partners. I know from experience, I've been with 9 women. Apparently, I love being with the wrong woman. I really want the next one to be the right one. I really want, like, I don't know, 100 respected rabbis worldwide. Assuming that she wants to. I want my first girlfriend back. Yeah. There's almost not a day that goes by that I don't think about her. Today I saw a 3-year-old girl. And to me, she just looks like the most absolutely adorable thing in the world. And she reminded me of my first girlfriend. It's like I could imagine that she looked like this at 3. Yeah. She was so incredibly beautiful. And I abused the relationship, I was 19 years old and I didn't know what I was doing. I even cursed at her. Sure. I have a track record of cursing like you wouldn't believe. Whether you want to use the word I used expletives, well, actually, that's the thing. I don't know if I ever actually cursed her or if I just used expletives in conversation. Because I don't think I ever cursed her. I was uncomfortable that she was in yichud with somebody who was other than me and not a family member, biologically. I've never been in yichud with Shoshi Tabakman Hastel. I've never been in yichud with Malkadina Tabakman Lewis. And I've never, actually, I have been in yichud with Harriet Brown. At Pesach. Can't remember what year it was. I went by her house. I thought the kids might be there and they're, do a Seder of sorts. Actually, I was hoping not. I was hoping nobody would be there and somehow she had weed. And lo and behold, she did. I smoked a joint instead of doing the Seder. I thought it was fantastic. I thought she was the coolest foster mom could have ever dreamed of getting. Kind of like when I was 7 or 8 or 9 and I had like the flu or something and my aunt took care of me. I was over at my cousin's for Shabbos. Yeah. Oh, say that, Rachel. The one thing I'm good at is forbidden. It's like I could run a podcast. This could be interesting to some people. Could make money off it. Biblically, it's forbidden. What a life. Good night.